Hey everybody, what is going on today? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how you can go into the ball player mode in MLB The Show 21 and make yourself the most OP starting pitcher that you possibly can with a banned windup, a formerly banned windup. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. But y'all do me a favor, as always, man, make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe. Seriously, subscribe. If you guys aren't, make sure you do. Because I know most of you aren't, because it tells me. I appreciate it, man. Y'all are awesome. Thanks. All right, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and get right to it, man. The ball player mode right here is kind of a glitch, and I made a video about it the other day showing you guys how you could go through the glitch and level your ball player up very quickly and make him just kind of an absolute beast. But I did it with a pitcher, and I want to show you guys how you can make just an absolute beast mode pitcher in MLB The Show 21. And you know, if you're looking for just a crazy kind of wind up, crazy mix of pitches, I'm going to show you all the pitches that you need to use. I'm going to show you the pitch types and how you can make them the best pitches throughout the training in Road to the Show mode to make your pitcher just an absolute stud. So excuse me, here we go. We're going to go over, let's first go over the types of pitches that you should be carrying on your create a pitcher, and as you do it, you'll get to select the first three, and then as you actually go through the mode, when it pops up your daily your kind of missions and your bullpen sessions in between working through Road to the Show, you'll get to add more pitches to your bullpen or train other pitches as well. We're going to go over exactly what to do with that in just a second. So but here is the player card that I've got right now, or here's the loadout for it right here. This is my pitcher right here. We'll go over equipment, everything too that you're going to need for this card, but we'll go over the pitch types, man. Here's the 5 pitch types that I went with, and if you guys notice, I know you see right now there's not a 4-seam fastball anywhere in this, and I'm going to explain why in just a second, but I went with sinker as the primary pitch. I went with circle change as the secondary, a slurve as the third pitch there, slider, which I know is a little bit similar to the slurve, but it's just different enough with this windup, trust me, and then a cutter. The reason I didn't go with a 4-seam fastball is because we want movement on all of these pitches, all right? You want max movement on all of these pitches that you can get, and with a fastball, you're going to get a little bit of movement, but you're not going to get the most that you can with this arm angle that we're going to use for this pitcher as well. So let's check that out, though. We're going to show you guys the actual arm angle that I used and the windup that we put on this pitcher for this, and I'll show you what all these pitches look like as well. All right, you guys, so here you go. You can see it right here. It's crazy. It's wicked. It's generic windup 22. I love that it's 22. That just makes sense for me, right? So here it is. It's really cheesy. I'm not going to even lie. I mean, it's a crazy windup, but I'm going to show you what each of the pitches look like that he throws coming out of the hand when you use this this pitching style real quick, okay? All right, you guys, so here you go. I've got my ball player in the game right now. We just loaded up a quick game versus the CPU, and this is on easy. I'm just trying to show you guys what the pitches look like and the angles right here, but here's the sinker coming out of his hand with this. You can throw it low. Throwing it high is going to be effective with this windup because it's just nasty. It's got so much break to it. It's just pretty disgusting. And I'm going to show you guys the pitch speeds, and there's a little bit of a glitch with the pitch speeds as well. So I'll show you that in just a second, but there's the sinker. All right, here's a circle change. We're going to throw that circle change going to the low outside part. Look at that, man. It just falls off and drops straight off the plane right there. So it's going to fool guys like crazy. And then you're going to get the slurve here. The slurve is going to have a little bit more of a upward arc like a curveball, but then it's going to drop off to the side right there like a slider would. Now here's a slider. We'll go inside here to this hitter, to Cedric Mullins. And that slider's not going to get the upward arc like the slurve is. So it's going to give them just it's a little bit different of an angle, all right? And then here we go with the cutter. The cutter's the filthy pitch. The cutter I chose instead of his fastball, really, because this cutter up and in is just filthy at that speed and that angle. Even if you come with it outside here to the high and away point, it's gonna be pretty nasty right there. So you guys can see that. It's pretty cool. Now, when you're in the My Ball Player selection in Road to the Show, you're actually going to see something that looks like this. I wanted to go over the archetype and the actual equipment that you guys need to get this pitcher to look exactly like this, all right? So the archetype I used on this is Professor, all right? It's the Professor. That's the one that I leveled up as I got to going through it. I believe as I started at the very beginning of it, I used the Filthy Painter one as the first one that I, or let's see, no, it was... yeah, it was Painter. That's what it was. It was Painter is the first one that I used. And then as I got going through it, I used Filthy Painter. And then once we got to gold, it gave us the Professor. And then we used the Professor here as the diamond archetype to level it up. Now, the 4 that we used on here that I liked for it are Control 3, All right, break 5, velocity 7, and break 2. Those are my 4 perks that I like to use on it. Now, you want to go ahead and get the equipment items as well to make your pitcher just an absolute beast. But the 3 to keep in mind that matter the most for a starting pitcher or relief pitcher as well are going to be your ritual item, which you're going to want this axle grease item right here because it's going to give you pitching clutch, Ks per 9. It's going to raise up your home runs per 9 and your walks per 9. So better control. The home runs per 9 doesn't matter really, but just that's the best pitching one, trust me. And then you're also going to go down here to your cleats. Your cleats, I recommend getting these New Balance ones right here. It's going to give you some nice speed as well, 12 speed boost, but your Ks and hits per 9 are going to go up a 10 and a 6, which is really nice. So that's going to be a great one for you. And then your fielding glove, I recommend the Under Armour one right here. I just couldn't talk for a second. With 11 Ks per 9 and 7 hits per 9, it's going to be the highest that it's going to raise you up for a pitcher. So those are going to be the 3 things that you want the most for that. So definitely check that out. All right, so when you're on that screen, you're actually going to see your pitch selection screen look like this when you're in the player card looking in Road to the Show. So I moved it over top because we don't care about those green ones on the bottom right here. So all of the hits and Ks per 9 are going to be legit. That's right. So we're at 90, 106 on the hits and Ks per 9. Okay. All of the attributes are right. But where it gets kind of screwy and there's this weird glitch is the pitch repertoire and the miles per hour, the speeds, those aren't correct that are up there, and those aren't posted as to what you're going to be in Diamond Dynasty. So if you go into a game in Diamond Dynasty, it's actually going to look like this right here. Okay, so if you can see that circle change dropped off a little bit, so now it's in the 70s, and that is huge, man. Having that bigger difference in pitch velocity right there is nasty. Being able to get up to 95 with that cutter, 93 with the sinker there, and then being able to drop down in the mid 70s or the mid 80s or high 80s there with a couple pitches, it's going to be absolutely filthy. So I'm going to show you guys how you can make it look like this when you go through Road to the Show mode while you're actually building your pitcher now. All right, so when you're in the Road to the Show mode and you're just in your main screen here, you're going to go to play. And as you go play through these modes, I'm doing a 2-way player one right now. But when you get to these right here, you're going to have these sessions pop up on your off days. And if you're doing a pitcher, you're going to get, I think, a little bit more of them, it seems like, than you typically do. But let me move this over to the side so you guys can see all this stuff. So when you're doing pitcher, you're going to select bullpen. You're not going to select batting cage. And occasionally you'll get where once you select bullpen, some of these will be ones that you don't want or you've already done them all. And most of mine are capped out, or some of mine are capped out, but all of them aren't yet. So I'm still working on him, making him even better than what he is right now. But some of them you don't really want to mess with too much. And I'll tell you the ones that you do and don't. But you can go into this practice field and sometimes you'll get ones for your pitcher or something too in here, arm strength or training facility. Sometimes you'll get them, but not very often. So we'll go into bullpen, and up here is where you're going to be able to add your new pitches as you go throughout. And until you get those 5 pitches, you're just going to have to cycle them through and look every time this pops it up. And you'll eventually be able to get those 5 pitches to all be able to be used in those slots that I showed you at the beginning of the video. So you just got to kind of play around with it. Maybe keep a chart and write it down, until you get what you want. But as you go through it, there's several things to keep in mind. All right, you want to add break to all of your pitches. Anytime you see one that comes up and says add break, like cutter break is down here at the bottom. You'll see slurve break, you'll see slider break, all those. You want to add those whenever you get a chance. So that's a good one. Always add that. All right. Whenever you see one that says add velo, add velocity, never add it to your changeup, never add it to your slurve, and never add it to your slider. Ever. All right. Don't ever do it. Always add it to your sinker or your cutter. All right, do not raise up the velocity on any of those other pitches. You want those to stay lower so that they're more effective for you. Okay, now the other thing to keep in mind is you want to add control. You add control and heavily to your 2, 3, and 4 pitches, which are your circle change, your slurve, and your slider, as I showed you. All right, so you want to make sure that you have lots of control on those, because the less likely you are to hang a breaking pitch, the less likely you are to get something hit off of you pretty nasty. All right, so as you do these, you'll just go in, you'll select, like I want to do let's see, what would I want to do? Slurve control, slurve velocity, or slider velocity. We definitely don't want that. And cutter break. Let's go slurve control, because I want a little bit more control on that slurve. So you go in here, it does it automatically for you, and it raises it up. All right, we don't need to watch that. So as we go through, you'll get all these appearances and these extra appearances, and you'll just play through them and make them work like that. And then as you do this, you can simulate, as you guys watch that other video showing you guys exactly how you can do that. You can simulate it all and get this ball player leveled up really quickly. So make sure to watch that video if you haven't checked it out. But I hope this helps you guys out. You guys make an OP pitcher. Go find a crazy windup. If you don't like the one I use, then go find another one. It's completely okay. But y'all do me a favor, as always, man. Make sure to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe. I feared making this video because I know I'm going to see some of y'all's crazy pictures out there, but that's okay. We'll have some fun with it. So y'all have a great one, man, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks. Peace.